Hello and welcome into your Bruins fan review for Game 3 of the 2019 Stanley Cup Finals. Bruins pick up a huge W, 7-2 over the St. Louis Blues. And feel free to hit the subscribe button while you're here. If you like my content, leave a comment. Tell me your thoughts on the game. I want to get this out of the way early. That way maybe you guys don't interact because you might not stick around. And then hit that thumbs up button. It gets the video suggesting more. But let's break down what happened in Game 3. Now, first off, you have to talk about the shots. The shots are 29-24, so it doesn't look like the Bruins outplayed the Blues as badly as it kind of looked on the ice. Now, one thing that is very key in the playoffs is special teams. And a big difference in this game, when you look at it, is 4 for 4 on the power play for the Bruins compared to the 1 for 5 that the Blues had. Now, 1 for 5 isn't terrible. 4 for 4 is just freaking insane. It's rare this late in the playoffs you will do that to another team. And the Bruins power play just looked lethal. That's the only way to describe it. There was never a time when they were out there that you didn't think the Blues were in trouble. The Blues were always in trouble. Their penalty kill just isn't getting it done for them. The Bruins have now scored a power play goal in, I want to say, 7 straight games. And Binnington has picked on a different thing now. Binnington just hasn't looked like an elite goalie. Meanwhile, Tuukka Rask has stayed looking very good. Now, Tuukka Rask hasn't been his best. He hasn't needed to be his best so far this series. Game 2, the Bruins got severely outplayed. We can acknowledge that. We can acknowledge the Blues deserve that game. But one thing we have to acknowledge as well is how good the Bruins have been this year at coming back from really bad games and playing great games the next game. Example, just being opening day of the 2018-19 season against the Washington Capitals, where we lost 7-0. Looked terrible. I thought it was going to be a long year. Definitely, if you told me I was going to be making videos about the Stanley Cup Final at that time, probably wouldn't have believed you at that moment. But then the night after that, they played a back-to-back to start their season. They dominated the Sabres and won 4-1, and that was back when the Sabres were decent before they went downhill. Now, one thing you got to mention as well is this is the first time Jordan Binnington has been chased in his career and has been forced to leave the net. So we saw Jake Allen for the first time in this 2018-19 Stanley Cup playoffs. Now, Binnington's going back into the net for Game 4, and I think that's the right decision. What I do think is going to happen, though, is, and this might not even matter, he's going to have a shorter leash. They're not going to let him let up 5 goals on, I don't even know, it must have been 15 shots or 19 shots right there. I believe there was a stretch where he let in 4 on 5 shots in a row. He was looking bad. They might have pulled him a little too late. Don't really think it made a big difference in the big picture. But that's something notable. When a goalie gets chased in a game, it usually means they're keeping him rested for the next game because they wouldn't let him die out there. Plus, it was 5 goals in half a game, as you can see, 7:48 on the clock. Moving on, though, Torrey Krug becomes the first Bruins player to get 4 points in a Stanley Cup final game. Very impressed by Torrey Krug. Kind of surprising he's the first, but props to him. Torrey Krug's a baller, and he is the quarterback of that power play and is a vital part of the power play and a huge reason that the Bruins are where they are right now in the Stanley Cup final. He is also one of 4 players in NHL history to get 4 power play points in a single Stanley Cup final game. The other 3 being Dennis Potvin of the Islanders team in the 80s, John Beliveau of the Canadiens, and Joe Sakic of the Avalanche. 3 very, very big names in the history of hockey. Torrey Krug puts himself in that company. Torrey Krug has something insane like 48 points as a defenseman in 65 playoff games career. Torrey Krug is insane, and I love that he wears my team sweater. Moving on, though, the Bruins would get 3 in the first period, and it would start off with a power play goal by Patrice Bergeron. Very simple here. You got a face-off win. Bergeron goes to the middle. Torrey Krug with a nice hard shot pass. This is a shot. He's masking it as a shot, but really he's aiming for Bergeron's stick the whole time, and Bergeron tips it in past Jordan Binnington. Not much Binnington can do there. A little bit later in the period, about 7 minutes later, Charlie Coyle would get on the board for the Boston Bruins. Now, one thing you got to mention is Chuck Coyle's work in the defensive zone, turning defense to offense. As you can see in the bottom left picture, Charlie Coyle puts on his working pants, goes to work down low on the boards, gets it off, goes to get a breakout, creates a 3-on-2. Pat Maroon's holding him back. He escapes from Pat Maroon, gets the puck up to Danton Heinen at the middle of the ice. Danton Heinen brings it in, drop pass to Johansson. Beautiful feed, cross ice to Charlie Coyle from Johansson. And Coyle snipes it past Bennington. Not much Bennington can do there as well. Johansson and Coyle have such good chemistry. And the fact that they were both brought in around the trade deadline and they've gelled this well, this quick, is still insane to me. And I mention that every time. I mention it a lot because, as you can see, Charlie Coyle, 8 goals, Johansson, 7 assists. They've been very active this playoffs on the score sheet. You then move to this goal right here is the one that told me the Bruins are going to win, the third goal. This one happens with 10 seconds left in the period, and no goalie should let this in. This isn't a power play goal either. Sean Kuraly comes into the zone. You can see in the bottom left where Nordstrom is. Nordstrom does a good hold up there, kicks it to Sean Kuraly. Sean Kuraly does a little toe drag shot past Pietrangelo. I believe that's Pietrangelo. And goes low, 5-hole on Binnington. Binnington doesn't react to it, and that tells you right there that your goalie is off a little. The first 2 goals, not Binnington's fault. This third goal, huge red flag with your goaltender when he's letting in something like that. This should be saved every day of the week. All he has to do is drop down and get down in time. He doesn't, whether he doesn't see it or not, he has to see it. He has to save it. Going down 3-0 into the first intermission is killer. And I was just saying to myself, I'm not a very confident person when watching games. I'm very much the nervous type, but I said to myself, I think, I was like, the Bruins are winning this game. And that's what I said to myself. Some other notable things that happened here that you got to acknowledge is the Sammy Blais hit 40 seconds into the game, looking for a little retribution on David Backes. I thought that should have been a penalty for a high hit to the head of Backes. Backes was okay, wasn't injured, so that's fine. But Dabrowski is looking for a little revenge off that. Needing a hit early on Pietrangelo, I believe, and he gets the penalty for that. You're always going to get caught retaliating. One thing you got to know, I should have pointed out earlier, is the penalty that made Bergeron's power play goal. I'll go back to the slide for a sec. Bergeron's power play goal. What was the penalty that happened? David Perron with a very bad penalty, interference going through the neutral zone on Carlo, where he just kind of drags him down from behind. Stupid play by Perron. And Perron, I feel like, has cost the Blues more than he has helped them, in my opinion. Good Pest is one who aggravates the other team and doesn't get called by the officials. Perron is kind of just helping the Bruins by going to the box. And really dumb penalty there. Anything else? You got to mention the Braden Schenn murder attempt on David Pastrnak. I see a lot of people saying that he launched himself. I think he just got lifted when he made any contact with Pastrnak, and he flipped over that way because of where they hit each other. I don't think Schenn was jumping into him. I think he was going to hurt him, obviously. I don't think he launched himself. I think he got launched with contact. But that's neither here nor there. Besides that, huge period for the Bruins first period to go up 3-0. Great first period, feeling confident, and the confidence will only grow on a power play goal 4 minutes in. Now, how did they get on this power play? Well, that third goal, I'm going back and forth, I'm all over the place. They challenged this goal. Why did St. Louis challenge this goal? St. Louis thought it was offsides. Now, when you watch the replay, it very much looks like it's offsides until you take in the fact that Joel Edmondson is the one who brought the puck back into the zone, which immediately cancels offsides and makes it fair game for the Bruins to play the puck, get the shot off in it for it to count as a goal. Since you challenged offsides and you failed, you go to the penalty kill. You get a penalty, 2 minutes. Perron's actually serving this, which is funny. And 41 seconds into the second period, the Bruins will get their 4th goal. As you can see in the top right, what are the Blues doing there? You have 2 guys on the far side of the ice, which if the puck squirts out to them, you're going to have an extremely good scoring opportunity for either one of the guys, whether it's a point man or the guy in front of the net. And what happens is the Bruins get the puck to the point, slid over to Krug at the top and the top left, thrown down to Pastrnak left wide open. Pastrnak gets on the backhand there, does a little in and out and over Binnington. And really a lethal finisher like David Pastrnak, given the time and space that he was given, he's going to finish. Really hard to blame Binnington on this one too. Really tough night to be the goalie for St. Louis. No matter who's in the net, most of these goals besides the Crowley one would have probably went in. And it was kind of funny because at this point they were starting to pan the camera to Jake Allen to show like, hey, he might go in soon, and that would just show you what was to come. There'd be a few more penalties this period, wouldn't there? I believe there's only one more power play goal, but yeah, you have the Charlie McAvoy slashing on Braden Schenn, Pat Maroon on sportsmanlike, and Zdeno Chara on sportsmanlike, which I think was kind of bull because this led to 4-on-3, and I thought it was pretty light stuff to send Maroon and Chara for unsportsmanlike conducts. And Maroon's going to take that every day of the week. You take out one of the better penalty killers on the Bruins in Zdeno Chara for a guy who, yeah, he's gritty and he might kill some penalties like Pat Maroon. I'm not positive he's on their penalty kill, but you'd much rather have 1-for-1. That definitely favored St. Louis is what I'm trying to say. The next goal scored in this period would be St. Louis's first goal, and it would be Ivan Barbashev, not on the power play. Oh, the next Blues goal is on the power play. That's why I'm getting confused. But this was a good shift for the St. Louis Blues depth line. Their fourth line, Zach Sanford, big part in this goal, replacing Oscar Sundqvist, who is out with the 1-game suspension for the hit against Grzelcyk. Puck goes around, the boards down low. Sanford shakes off Char and drops the old man. Put out front by Sanford to Barbashev. Barbashev slams it in front. He doesn't put it on net, but he puts it off of McAvoy, as you can see in the bottom left picture. If you look at, like, in between the skates down there, you guys can't see my mouse, I gotta point out, but if you look hard enough, you'll see the puck. It deflects off McAvoy's skate and goes in the net. Really tough for Tuukka to say that. Really no chance there. Good shift by the Blues. Put pucks on net, and you'll get good things to happen. I guess in this case, put pucks anywhere remotely close to the net, and good things might happen. And the Blues get one back, but I still wasn't too worried, and the Bruins would respond a minute and 7 seconds later. This team has a great ability to respond to bad situations, like a bad game before, a goal against. They have a really good job of getting the troops together, getting in order, and getting goals, and getting wins when they're needed. And right after, Torrey Krug would get on the board. The power play would be courtesy of, I believe this is a Colin Parayko. High stick on Brad Marchand. Clearly a high stick. Bruins power play goes to work. A very good chip pass, a backhand chip pass by Brad Marchand. Draws in 2 Blues players, as you can see. Steen O'Reilly creates the lane, and this is another one that I really think Binnington should save. Now, yes, it hits off of Bowenmeister's stick off the shot. As you can see in the top right-hand corner, you can see the shot. It does catch Bowenmeister's stick when he moves it a little to the other side of his body. It does deflect, but it hits Binnington's glove, and it wasn't tipped that far to the post, really. I think Binnington should have this one, and I think it's a right decision by Craig Berube to pull his goalie. 1, the team wasn't helping him out much. 2, he wasn't on point. 3, save him, rest him for the next game where you actually have a chance of winning. Because he's your guy. He's gotten you this far. You got to ride Binnington. You got to ride with Binnington. But Jake Allen would enter the game, and the Blues would actually respond fairly well to this. They'd close it down a little. They wouldn't get enough offense, though, but they would get the next goal in the third period via Colton Parayko. They go to the power play. This is the Blues' lone power play goal. I believe this one is the penalty on Zdeno Chara. Yep, it is. The roughing on Carl Gunnarsson. Really stupid late hit by Chara here to send the Blues to the power play. Pretty simple goal, to be honest. Shot by Parayko. I believe, yep, I put the picture down there to remind myself. Bottom right picture, the one-timer by Parayko from the point. Ricochets off Carlo. Another ricochet. Really hard for Rask. It floats over his shoulder. Not much Rask can do that with that when it deflects that close and goes over on the power play. Bodies in front. As you can see, Maroon. Big net front presence. This guy is a problem sometimes. And Maroon proves his worth there. Again, putting himself in front of Tuukka Rask. And, yeah. This wouldn't be enough, however. The game would get down to the later stages, and the Bruins would eventually get the Blues to pull their goalie. Noah Acciari would score, and then there would be a penalty. I believe this one was Pietrangelo slashing on Noah Acciari. Power play goes. Johansson gets a one-timer and beats Jake Allen low with a very good low shot. Basically almost hugs the post the whole way and gets in. And the Bruins win 7-2. And what is there to think about going into Game 4? Well, you win it, you can win the Cup at home in Game 5. That might be looking a little too far ahead, but it's something that's on my mind as a fan because you much rather see the Cup get lifted at home than away. You'll obviously take it wherever you win it, but you rather win it at home. Now, Game 4, interesting things. Oscar Sundqvist back in the lineup. I believe Sanford's coming out. You have Vince Dunn, who's playing for the first time since the Western Conference Final, so it'll make its Stanley Cup Final debut. And Rob Bertuzzo's coming out. And Vince Dunn is a pretty decent defender from my knowledge. I believe he had over 10 goals as a defenseman. I believe the Blues had 3 defensemen over 10 goals, which I believe is more than any other team in the league. So you get a little more offense from the backhand for the Blues coming back into the lineup. Does it really shake how I feel the series goes at all? No, not really. The teams are very close, and Vince Dunn is a good player, but he doesn't add enough. It's not like you're adding like a McDavid into a series or something. It's a decent scoring defenseman for the Blues, but it helps them, to say the least. Matt Grzelcyk isn't ready for Game 4. Bruce Cassidy has already confirmed that he will not be playing in Game 4. Now, do I think the Bruins win Game 4? I'm just going to be honest and say I have no clue, because the Blues got outplayed in Game 1 after the first period. They responded well and came back in Game 2 and won a game. The Bruins then respond. It could go back and forth, and it could go 7 games. I'm really not sure how to read this series with who's going to win which game. I feel confident in my boys to win the whole series. Game to game, it's pretty tough to choose a winner. There's dogs just barking outside of my window for whatever reason. Sounds like coyotes. But anyway, that got me off track a little. But it wouldn't shock me if the Blues win Game 4. It wouldn't shock me if the Bruins win Game 4. I expect the Blues to play a lot better than they did in Game 3, though. I will say that. Whether that means they win, who knows. But really happy with how the Bruins played. Those dogs are so loud. I'm so sorry if you can hear that. You might not mind, though. But I'm really happy with how the Bruins played in Game 3. I'm looking forward to Game 4. Looking forward to cover Game 4. The video for Game 4 will be up tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. And hopefully you'll stick around and watch that video and share your thoughts with the game with me in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe if you like my Bruins coverage. Hit that thumbs up button. The more likes it gets, the more suggested it gets to people who may not see the video otherwise. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Go Bruins. Hopefully we win in Game 4, and we can win the Cup at home in Game 5. Peace.